We're good? All right. Didn't even know. The light came on. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, fight fans across the world, we are here on another beautiful day in Las Vegas for Fight Junkeez. What's up, boys? I got some awesome guests today. Trap Gambino is in that motherfucking house today. And by his side is my older brother, George, all the way here from Jersey. He's sitting in...
If I was gonna, my new security guard here.
I know, right? If I was going to have one big guy, I said, I know a big guy. Let me get the other big guy.
You put two big guys next to each other, they don't look as big. So it kind of balances it all out.
Yeah, so I've been really excited about this episode. Travis and I have gone back and forth a lot over the last few months. And unlike most conversations I have with like celebrities and other like, high profile people, this has been a real beginning of a friendship and a good conversation about life and triumph and like getting past the bullshit and the trolls and trauma and family things and kids. And it's been a real deal conversation instead of just how can we exploit each other, across the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been, he's been real busy. So if you don't know Trap Gambino, he is a father, an entrepreneur, a professional fighter, an amazing entertainer, a rapper. The list goes on. What's up, man? How are you? Welcome to Fight Junkeez.
How you doing, man? I like to tell people I wear many hats, but my big-ass head fits none of them. You know what I mean?
There you go.
But yeah, man, I've been all over. I've done a lot, but right now I got a fight coming up, and that's the biggest thing. So my boxing debut is coming up July 29th. So until all that's over, I'm just a fighter for now. All that rapping and stuff, it's a little distracting.
I've seen the clip of you in the limo. It could be distracting.
Yeah, it's a distracting lifestyle. You got to keep up with everybody wants to be the cool guy and the hype guy, so you got to be the coolest and the hypest online, and it gets old after a while. And sometimes you just want to lay back and train and be yourself. And I feel like that's why I've been not putting out. I don't know if you noticed, but I have been not posting any of my training footage, anything lately other than like old music videos and stuff like that, because I've been really focused on this fight.
Just dialed in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a long time coming. I've been wanting to box since I started fighting. Like I grew up boxing and I never boxed. I always went into MMA. I competed in jiu-jitsu. I done high rollers out here in Vegas. I competed in Naga in Arizona. Jiu-jitsu over here in Vegas. I did the Eddie Bravo tournament over here in Vegas, and I suck at grappling, you know what I mean? So I don't know why I just kind of threw myself in there. It was almost like I was using it as a way to prepare myself for the quote-unquote real fighting, which in my opinion is like MMA or boxing when you're throwing hands at another man. And in my MMA fight, I found out, what everybody kind of knew, and what I kind of knew is I got good hands and I suck at grappling, so I should probably stick to boxing.
Yeah, I watched you put it on that dude.
Yeah, man, I hurt myself, but it is what it is. He won that fight, so fair play to him.
So let me backtrack, and it really intrigues me seeing a guy of your stature doing all the things you're doing, because I grew up with my older brother here, who dealt with some weight issues and different things in high school, and bullies and all kinds of shit that he went through, and he certainly came out on top over all of it. But I know that he certainly had some struggles and things like that. Have you always been a big dude? Or you always been athletic? Because you do things that I've never seen anyone your size be able to do. It is so fucking impressive.
Yeah, I don't know how, honestly. I feel like kind of in a way, it sounds weird, but I feel like growing up obese and not doing anything my whole life, I've almost like preserved my body inside this like obese. I was morbidly obese. It got to the point where I was 465 pounds.
Wow.
And I remember one day I went to the beach and I couldn't like walk on the beach without my feet just burning, and I had to keep like sitting, and my back was just on fire. And that was the day I was like, man, I even got pictures from that day. I was like, man, this is too much for me. This is ridiculous. And then my wife got pregnant, and that's when I was like, okay, I got to turn things around. And I started training, and I went from 465 to 380 by just boxing and stuff. And then when I got to Vegas, I started doing MMA training, all that, and that's when I lost the rest of the weight. I'm 350, 340 now.
Because you look great. I just gave you a hug out there, and you felt like a brick wall.
I'm really solid for my
Very
size.
solid. You felt like a piece of mahogany.
And my wife says I'm built like a gorilla.
And having been that big, now you're down over 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Do you feel light on your toes in comparison?
Yeah, I've always felt kind of light, which is weird even as a big guy. But like I said, I grew up out of shape my whole life. I was a computer nerd. It started out with like Yahoo Messenger, AOL, then the MSN, then MySpace.
Yeah. How old are you now?
Facebook, 32.
Okay, so you're all right.
I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah.
So I was literally born in 1990, and I was at the time of my life where like Roadrunner first came out, high-speed internet. My mom was dating this dude who had a lot of money, so of course we got it, And I was always on the home computer. Remember when they had like the desktop in the corner of the living room, and that was the one computer of the house? I was on it 24/7, and that was my life growing up, and that's how I learned music, media, everything, basically.
Napster.
Yeah. Mine was LimeWire and WinMX.
Wow, that probably set you up for success later on because when you propelled yourself into the world of like social media influencer and you kind of knew what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like that really started with MySpace. MySpace, a lot of people don't know, but I was kind of one of the first like famous MySpace musicians. When they first put the music on MySpace, I was one of the first guys to get that on there.
And when you could like make your wall dope as hell and put
and
music
then
on your
they had,
profile. Yeah.
They had this cool GIF that was like a world map, HTML code that you can put like of a world map on your MySpace, and it shows you which people from the world visited your page, and my shit was just like lit up everywhere, and I had people from all over listening to my music, and I feel like that was the first time I really learned like, okay, this is how you promote. So I started having girls, do you remember the MySpace fan signs where girls would like go like this?
Yeah.
I love Bob or whatever.
Yeah.
They were fighting for your top 8. Who
Fight
won
Junkeez
Yeah.
on their boobs.
On their boobs, yeah.
So I had, they were fighting for the top 8. So I had a bunch of girls do the fan signs and stuff like that, and I would put the pictures up, and that just blew up on MySpace because of that. I still have some of those pictures. So
I remember the last time I got on MySpace, I was in Germany in the army. It was like 2006.
Wow.
And I was on there. And I was like, because you go out there, you meet people, and you're making friends, and you're like, you want to show your army buddies your life before the military, because we all just wear green, like we're all the same, And then I don't know what happened. My wife we were just talking about, we wish we could get on MySpace. I mean, do you guys know what the fuck happened? Like the guy,
I think Justin Timberlake bought it out and like turned it into like a music page or something like that.
You can still log into it. If you remember, you can still log into MySpace.
I don't remember
I
my
think
password.
I still remember my old like HTML, like the top. It was like Big Trap 15 because I was 14. I was about to turn 15.
Gotcha. Mine was always XX B stripe XX.
Yeah, B-Stripe.
Slash
remember
420.
Yep.
Always some corny shit. Oh, man.
That's what those were the. I'm not much older than I'm 37, so it was the same era. I grew up in the
Yeah.
90s. Those
Back
were the
when you
days.
had to like load the boobs one like thing at a time, like one bar. You're hoping that it, and sometimes it was like a troll. You got like Rick Roll back in the day.
Yeah. What gets
Like
to
the-
about here, and you're
Yeah.
like, man, I hope there's nipples.
Yeah.
For the rest
Some
of this
huge
page
fucking-
loads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, those were the days, man, when if you weren't with the person after school, you didn't know what was going on. Like you had
Yeah.
to, if you weren't there, you had no clue. I had a beeper. Remember the beepers Dad got us? Then we had Nextel.
Papers.
Yeah,
My first phone was the Motorola Razr.
those were dope.
Yeah.
I had one of those in the army. I actually got drunk as hell going to the Euro Palace and took a shower with all my clothes on with that in my pocket. And then one of my buddies, bunch of dumb privates was like, how you going to dry it off? And supposedly I put it in the microwave and just blew it up,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was me at 19.
Yeah, man. The
Fuck.
Motorola Razr. I had I snuck one of those into a group home I was in when I was a kid. A lot of people don't know, but
Yeah, let's
during
let's backtrack to your life. You're from Ohio. Do you have any
That took a
siblings?
twist, yeah.
I have a lot of siblings, but two that I grew up with and that I really know. I have Asian siblings. I have half black siblings. My father was like a sperm donor. He
Okay,
was
so your dad was out there
all
slanging
over,
it.
man. Yeah, he was slanging it all over, man. But my real siblings was older brother and sister.
Okay, and then you were with mom growing up.
Yep, single mother.
Okay, in Ohio, which is very similar to like Jersey. Living Jersey and Ohio
it's
look
a
very similar.
small town Ohio, but it's a place that's like so they have a train tracks that go through there, and when back in the day when the Italians got let out, when they came from New York and all that stuff, a lot of them got off in Worcester, Ohio. And Worcester, Ohio became like an Italian town.
It's like Staten Island, just out in Ohio.
A little bit, yeah, it's fucking crazy
Bunch
because
of
like
delis.
right outside of it is just like Amish people, but inside of it there's like a little Italy.
Well, they were hiding from the feds,
Yeah, so
literally.
so that's where I grew up, and we traveled all over, but that was the hometown I grew up in, a small town.
So you grew up out there. You said you dealt with some health stuff and
Oh yeah,
was harder. Now I know there's millions of people that can relate to that to being heavy and obese and then losing a lot of weight. What I think is extravagant is a lot of people just hang out with a treadmill or a sweatsuit. You have become a sensation that is basically, you could go to anywhere in the world and somebody's going to know who the hell you are. What I know you said you had kids and but sometimes that's not enough. Like, your fire that you've lit under yourself is what really propelled me to be interested in you as a human, because I've seen professionals in many different areas of the world that aren't even, they're not that motivated. Like, what really made you think like this is because you had to have committed at one point to say, you know what, sweetheart, this is what I'm doing.
yeah.
I know you think I'm crazy, but I'm going to go. So yeah, when you went on Dr. Phil, right?
Yeah.
Can we go? Can you walk us through that a little, or?
Yeah, that was in 2020, like during the pandemic and all that. So basically, but I'll go before that.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I decided
please.
to really go deep into all this. So is the reason I'm out here in Las Vegas. So literally, me and my wife and my just born kid, she's like, I don't know, 1.5 at the time, something like that. We're just like, like my whole life before my kid, I'll be honest with you, I just wanted to be like a gangster. I wanted to sell drugs and I had like a little crew with me, and we called each other Dog Eat Dog. That was the name of our crew, and we sold drugs and guns and stupid shit that was gonna lead to nothing but just going to jail, or most of my family's in prison. Most of the men in my family is in prison right now as I speak, or dead. So, or it's either jail or overdose for my family. So, I wanted something bigger, and I always told my wife, like, I wanted to be. I would watch Floyd Mayweather and stuff in his gym. I always said, like, I want to be there. This is where I need to be. And of course, I'm, fat as hell from Worcester, Ohio. Like, I don't have any connections at the time or anything. And one day I just said, fuck it, and I'm going to pack up everything and put stuff in storage in Ohio, which is still there. We've been paying for the storage for like 7 years.
Have you done the math and figured out how much?
Dude, it's so much. It's like $130 a month, so you could probably imagine.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, but I can't. It's way cheaper than fucking getting a U-Haul and bringing it all down. It's expensive as hell. Like Cube and all that stuff. I looked into it. So we put all our stuff in storage, got in the car with no money, drove up to Cleveland, Ohio, got a title loan on that car that we knew that we wasn't going to be able to pay back. And this car had no air conditioning at the time, no insurance. I can't believe we fucking did this. But we took that car with the title loan money, which was like $1,000, and said, fuck it, and just drove to, I said we were going to drive to Vegas and become fighters and become rich and famous and actors and music and do all the shit that I wanted to do. And then we got here, and then we realized that we're broke. So we stayed in the circus parking lot for like 2 days until one day I was walking down Fremont Street just trying to figure out something to, like, where can I work or where can I get some money? I came here for a reason. I know this is crazy, but I felt like I was being like drawn to Fremont Street for some reason. And I knew that like I needed to go there, but in my heart, I felt like I kept seeing this vision of Fremont Street where there's a street that no cars drive on. It's old school Vegas. And I told my wife, I was like, we need to get to the Strip. I thought it was the Strip in my head. I didn't know Fremont Street even existed, but I knew I needed to get there. It's so weird. It sounds almost supernatural a little bit. But so my wife was driving me, and we get to the Strip, and I see the Strip, and she's like, "Here we are. This is the Strip." I'm like, "This isn't it." I'm like literally getting mad. I'm like, "This isn't where the fuck we need to be." I don't know why, but this isn't where we need to be. So we're seriously like 2 days go by. We're in Vegas, just driving around trying to find places. We randomly drive by Fremont Street, and I was like, "That's where I was been seeing in my fucking head, man." Like, am I allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah.
So that's what I've been seeing in my head, and I was just like, yeah, that's where we need to be. So she dropped me off, went back to Circus, and I see these people standing in circles and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? And I had this idea, like, I wonder if people would pay to like see somebody like working out like a boxer, like shadow boxing and shit out here. So that was like the first big idea I had. And the next day, I brought my wife out, put her in some like boxing gear, and we had a headgear on her and boxing gloves. And she went out, and we had to register to get the circle and all that, because you got to be a actual street performer, registered and all that. So we registered to get the circle. And she started performing out there, and like in like 2 hours we made $60, which wasn't bad, but it was not good. But like at the
Little
same
hope
time,
at the time.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, like $60, that's like almost a night for a hotel out here, and like that was in 2 hours, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, all she did was work out, and like people were just walking by putting money in a bucket. So then I had the idea of let's take the headgear off and put some makeup on. You're a pretty girl, maybe they'll see that you're a girl out here doing it. So she did that, and she made twice as much the next day. And then after a week of that, I had the idea, why don't you bring other gloves out there and offer people to shadow box with you? So she started doing that. And then she started bringing home like $300 to $400 a night. Damn. And we went from staying at the Circus hotel or the parking lot to staying in hotels, to staying in weeklies, and now we're in a nice apartment and stuff like that. So that was like the first thing that started happening. The next thing you know, she's like the highest paid street performer in Vegas.
Oh shit.
And she's got these crowds that are like bigger than the crowds that I've seen at like some actual MMA events, and it's insane. Like to the point where like the cops were making her move and stuff because she was causing too much of a
Traffic
a
jams.
ruckus. Yeah, it was insane. So they eventually made her quit, which sucked. But we thought that was going to go. Yeah, our dumbasses was spending all the money thinking it was going to last forever. You know?
Yeah.
So that was the first big thing that happened out here for us. And we both worked together for that. And that's when I realized, yeah, we got something here. Like, we're here for a reason. So we came here and we just latched onto that. Then I started doing stuff. When she got fired from Fremont Street, I started acting and getting into acting. Next thing you know, I'm on Netflix and Hulu and doing all these big feature films and in music videos with Yella Beezy and Pharrell Williams. And it just got out of hand, like in a good way, you know? Like,
I can really relate to the having that, and it sounds crazy. And I've been told I'm a dreamer my whole life. And Bobby, what are you doing? You've done 100 different things. You got to do one fucking all this. But I have literally had this feeling inside of me my entire life. And it's not an arrogant or like an overconfidence thing. It's just like that I'm special and I'm different, and that I need to find my niche. It's something, I don't know what it is, but I've always felt it. Like I belong in that 1% club.
Yes.
I've just known, and I've been told many times and put down and made fun of. But when you know deep inside your goddamn soul that you're meant for more and that you're special and you have a thing about you, and you finally say, let's go find out what it is, it's the most freeing, awesome feeling I've ever had in my life. So I do relate to you, man.
Yeah, man. And I feel like real recognized real at the same time, because I can feel it. Like as soon as I came in here and we dapped up, I was like, yeah, man, I feel that aura. You know what I mean? And I get the same thing. Like sometimes when I just get in the Uber, like I got in the Uber on the way here, and like when I got in the Uber, he was like, "Oh man, you're shining. You're like bright. Like something about you, like your aura's bright. Like you're shining." And yeah, man. So one thing that I really wanted to say on here, because I feel like a lot of other people, it would help a lot of other people, maybe including yourself, is my whole time out here, I've had imposter syndrome.
Bro, I can't believe you just brought that up.
I've been like sitting with these rich guys or these professional fighter. Like I'll be hanging out with like Nick Diaz, Diego Sanchez, all these guys that I feel like I shouldn't belong with. All these rich, movie producers or actors and stuff. And I'm like, they don't know that I don't belong here. They think that I belong here, but I don't. And lately, what's really been helping me with that, especially like with this fight coming up, because I had nerves in my MMA fight, even though I looked like I didn't, I had super big nerves in my MMA fight. And for my grappling fight, I had the biggest nerves. I don't know why, but for my grappling matches, I will say, I had the biggest nerves for. But for this boxing fight, the nerves are just like slowly fading away. And the reason is because like I'm reminding myself, like you said, like I am that fucking guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I am that 1%, and like I belong here. Like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like I'm not supposed to be anywhere else other than doing this. And if I was, I'd be there. You know what I mean? So like, why be nervous? Especially the nerves ain't gonna help now. Like I got this big guy in front of me ready to take my fucking head off. So I best be the best me I can possibly be right now. Because if not, then I'm basically am pretending to be somebody I'm not by being nervous and performing to the point where I'm not as good as. Then I'm basically being somebody I'm not when I can perform the way I know I can and who I know I am. It's almost like a reverse psychology thing. Well,
remember Conor McGregor before he made it big? Conor would say, before anyone even knew who he was, "I'm the champ." In his brain, he was already there. So when people watch me, and I've had a couple trolls say, "Oh, this guy already thinks he's something," absolutely, because I know where the fuck I'm gonna go, and I am completely confident where I'm headed, and I have a family that I need to take care of and provide for. And I've been feeling that thing my entire life. I just didn't know what I was supposed to do. You found your thing. I found my thing. 20 years I've been talking about MMA and fighting and being a part of that community from the outside. And now we're here, and that's such a beautiful thing. So if you're a person who deals with not knowing who your identity is, but you have that feeling that you kind of have a crazy idea that you want to do it, just go do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, man.
Just go. Fuck.
Jump in.
The big commonality I see, and you've been all over the place, you've been some places, and then you came here on something based around faith. Like you just took that initiative, and a lot of people hear a story like that and they're like, "That's amazing." The question back to those people is, well, would you be willing to step out? Would you be willing to sit in your car for 2 days not knowing? And the answer they usually give is, well, I don't know, maybe, and not really, whatever. But you did, and you did, and here you guys are now,
and it's worked out for you.
Yeah, I get a lot of people messaging me all the time saying, "Man, I want to come out to Vegas. I want to move out to Vegas," and then the next thing is, "How's the jobs out there? Are they hiring? Is it that?" It's like, "Oh, I'll come out. I got to save up money first. Oh, I got to do that." It's like, dude, you're never going to come. And I tell them, like, dude, Vegas is so easy compared to where we grew up that you could come out here and get a job like the same day. People don't understand that. And like, of course, you might have to sleep in your car for a couple of days. Of course, you might have to get a Motel 6 on, Boulder Highway. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Boulder Highway.
Yeah. But, you'll get through it. And, sometimes you got to eat shit to get gold sometimes. And that's what I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to suffer so I can succeed later. And that's something you just got to do. And a lot of people just ain't willing to do it. They're willing to be comfortable forever. And I get a lot. I think most of my haters are. It's funny because most of my haters aren't even broke people. They're people that are like comfortable. Like I got a lot of haters that are like construction workers and stuff. Like just blue collar guys for some reason just don't like me. I don't know why.
Because they're clocking in every day and you're killing it.
And maybe it's
they're jealous.
The Dr. Phil show a little bit too.
I remember watching that. It's funny that now I'm friends with him and I have him in studio. But that goes back to what you just said, imposter syndrome. Sitting, my first couple of weeks going to the Apex, hanging out with all the celebrity, I'm like, man, I feel so awkward in here.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I belong.
Yeah. Like they're lucky to be there with you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, it's a privilege to come on my show. Because in 4 years from now, I'm gonna remember who showed up when I didn't have a following,
fuck yeah, man.
and they're gonna be like, "Yo, can I get a free T-shirt?"
Right.
So you go from Ohio out here. You go through all those things. You start training. When did you get into, like, I guess the social media world where you started getting eyes on you?
So the first big move I did was still back in Ohio. While I was training, I started sponsoring female fighters, and I would pay them to have. I had a brand name Made. It was just like a clothing line, and it stands for Martial Arts Determines Everything. And it was a pretty cool logo and shit. So I had it on Tanya Evinger. I had it on. I sponsored her for her title win for Invicta when she won the championship for Invicta, and that's when everything kind of blew up around it. Like, who's this person on her ass? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I did that, and then I think I got a lot of following from that, and then there was like some drama in the WMMA world between me and another female MMA fighter, and that kind of blew up too. And I think that it just all piled on. Then I got quote unquote haters, which is basically just fans in disguise, fans in the closet. And,
I like that. I like
they blew me up, I think, bigger than anything, which is crazy. They would make fake profiles of me, and they would message like famous fighters and stuff, and some people that I hang out with sometimes, and they'll tell them like, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna kick your ass. There's nobody bigger and badder than me." And it built like they would go on forums that like I've never even been to, like Tampa, Florida forums and shit that I'm not even at, and be like, "I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker here. Anyway, I'm gonna kick your ass." Like, just make me look like a jackass.
But you had 100 or 1,000 people being you.
But they were all fucking replying and thinking that was really me, and it built me up on this big like troll reputation to like where people actually thought that was me, and I got a lot of trolls because of that, but I also got a lot of fans, and I think I blew up a lot because of that, and that's what led me to the Dr. Phil show.
Yes. Can you? And I don't know if you had to sign like an NDA or certain things for the show, but how real was that experience going on Dr. Phil?
So I know how TV works, and I know that TV, at the end of the day, it's all just for entertainment. So what happened with Dr. Phil is I'm a part of a group that you get information on, like casting calls and stuff like that. One of the casting call was for people. They're looking for guests on Dr. Phil who's been catfished by a celebrity. Specifically, this was the show that they're looking for, and you might have seen this show on there where old ladies think they're talking to Bret Michaels or something like that.
Yeah, she was engaged to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
True
that
love.
was the show. Yeah, exactly. That was the show that they're casting for. So I saw that and was like, maybe I can somehow, like, I've been through TV a little bit by this time. I've been through Hulu and Netflix and everything. I know how it works. So maybe I can somehow make this work. So I messaged the producers, and I just remember I specifically used the word catfish over and over again intentionally, but I kind of manipulated the story to be more about me. I was like, hey, I got a catfish story for you. I'm a victim of all these trolls catfishing other profiles, pretending to be me and talking to the other. I just kept using the word catfish as like a subliminal message, so they'll fucking hire me. Or
like when you write a
they'll call me
resume,
back. Yeah.
you keep putting like.
So they called me back, and I told them, I told them the actual story, and they were, of course, they were interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they did like a whole. Man, I don't even know what they call it, but it was like an interrogation every day on the phone, just in the craziest way, to where like it was almost like a manipulative interrogation where they're asking you questions, and the next day they'll ask you different questions, so you forget that initial answers to the questions that they asked you before, and then they'll make you forget that they even asked you that, so they'll use that on the show against you, like, one of the first questions is, what did the trolls say to you that bothers you the most? What's the one word that will trigger you the most? And I answered, my dumbass, of course, told them the fucking word. I ate it right up. I was like, well, I hate when they call me delusional because I don't understand that. Like, because I want something, I'm delusional. That makes no sense to me. So,
they're delusional.
yeah.
They have no vision
They
of
remembered that word, and that's the fucking word that Dr. Phil used against me.
the whole show.
Yeah. In the commercial,
prick.
Yeah, they
in the
prepped him. They're
fucking
like,
preview
"This
of
is
the
the
show,
word." Yeah.
the preview of the show, he says, "Trap, you're delusional." And like,
You know who's
I have
delusional?
a doctorate and you're delusional, you know?
Dr. Phil's delusional. Because
Yeah.
what does he do? He brings people on, not in your case, but that have mental issues, and he exploits them on television to make money. So who's really the delusional
that's what he
prick?
thought
Fucking
he was
Dr.
doing
Phil.
to me. Yeah, that's what he thought he was doing to me. But in reality, I manipulated the producers to get on national television. I knew I was gonna eat shit. I knew that. I should have protected myself a little bit more. Like I should have acted a little bit more flamboyant. I should have put on, like you said,
Cash
like
me outside.
Yeah, I should have been. Imagine if I just got up and just like tackled Dr. Phil. Imagine how viral that would have went. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm delusional. You're delusional.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Who the
anything
fuck are you
crazy.
calling delusional?
But unfortunately, I ate like a bunch of edibles like the night of the show, so it was kind of relaxed. But yeah, it was like so the show is real to a point, but they also tell you what to say. Like they'll tell you like, "Hey, I want you to be combative against him. I don't want you to just agree with everything he says because if you do that, then we don't have a fucking show." And then it makes you wonder, like, well, you know, he's making people look bad because they're disagreeing with him, but they don't care how those people look. They just want to show. Like the producers literally told me some days they had to chase like crackheads down the fucking street, Hollywood Boulevard, to get them back on the show to finish filming the show. Oh my God. I'm just like, how
You're not done fighting. Get back in there.
Exactly. And
I'll
they
give you
don't pay
$20 for some more drugs.
anything. They don't pay you anything.
Oh, okay. But did you drive out there?
They paid us to come out there. Yeah, it was during COVID, so they didn't fly us out there. They paid for us to get a rental and drive out there. But they paid for the hotel. No, nothing like that. They did have.
Fuck. I thought you got a couple bands or something.
Dude, no, but this is one funny thing. So the hotel that they set us up at was the Roosevelt Hotel, which is like some old school fancy hotel. And I don't know if the owner didn't know that we're like from Vegas, but like we pulled in and he's like, "Hello, fine sir," you know, like giving me that shit.
Like, what's up, dog?
Yeah, and he's like, "Once upon a time, Marilyn Monroe stayed in this room," and I'm just like thinking, like, dude, I'm from Vegas, where Marilyn Monroe had a train on her in every single one of these fucking hotels. Like, you ain't telling me
every
anything
floor.
cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we get to the hotel and it's like it's old school Hollywood, so everything's tiny and stuff. But the funniest part about this story is they had like a box of sex toys in the hotel room.
Just in case.
Yeah, like you know how it's like in Vegas they have a bar, but if you get into the bar you pay for it. This was the sex toy. So if you open up this box, you pay for the sex toys. So
Why did I get charged for 4 dildos? Like,
so
what happened?
I opened the box just because fuck it, why not? You know, and we didn't use it. I just thought it was the funniest shit ever. So we opened the box, and like 2 weeks later, we got a check from Dr. Phil Studios to pay for the hotel and the room and all that stuff because they had to reimburse us. And in the fucking check, it literally said Dr. Phil, and it said paid for sex toys.
That's going on the wall.
Yeah, I was like, man, that is great.
Well, I didn't know that was a thing. When we first moved out here, we stayed at the Wynn
Yeah.
for one night. My dad helped us get a room over there, and my wife, she's like, "I'm gonna go shower or whatever." She comes out, and I'm like smashing cookies, drinking a Corona, hanging out.
the
She's
best
like, "What are you
room
doing?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You got to pay for all that shit." I'm like, "We did. We got the room." Like, what the fuck? And it ended up being like another $150 worth
Yeah,
of
dude,
shit.
it's expensive.
But yeah, I had no idea. Dr. Phil, though, that's fucking crazy. So, unfortunately, we got 14 minutes left. I think
Man,
we
that
were
went by fast.
Yeah,
huh?
we need like a good. We need to do it again.
It's like a 2-hour one.
yeah.
This is our Rogan podcast. right
Facts.
here.
Yeah. So what's in the works right now? I know there's certain things that you can't talk about, but how's training going? I see you with like Rampage and a lot of the guys. What's your life like in? I know you. That's a good question. You get a lot of trolls, a lot of bullshit, but inside of the actual mixed martial arts community, how is your relationship? Because it seems like it's pretty solid to me.
Man, Yeah, I know a lot of. I'm lucky and blessed to know a lot of professional fighters, a lot of great coaches. Shout out to Rudy Morales, who's helping me for this fight camp. He was a coach of Stephen Bonner before he passed, and I know I'm blessed to know a lot of real UFC fighters and stuff out here that have my back, that know my story, that's pushing for me. And sometimes I forget that their opinions matter more than the opinions of some weirdos online that just seen like an hour-long TV show and they think that's who I am, So yeah, I got a lot of support out here, and I have no excuse not to train as hard as anybody else out there. So I'm going hard, man. Ever since I did have a passing in my family, my daughter just passed, and things have obviously been a little different since then. I haven't gone out as much. I haven't posted as much. But it doesn't mean I'm not working as hard. So, yeah, I'm definitely working hard, and everything in my community is good. It's just, I got to fix the outside look of me, I guess. A lot of people don't understand who the real me is, and that's why I'm on this show and hoping to get it fixed,
Well,
Hoping
I'm
people
very
see the real me more than, what they see on TV and stuff. But, you get what you give.
Yeah, people want to see what they want to see. And I'm very sorry to hear the news about the passing of your daughter.
Thank you.
Likewise.
And I commend you. I couldn't imagine. My 8-year-old daughter, I haven't been able to even see a picture of her in almost 2 years. She was taken from me, basically against my will, based on lies, and not even in the same ballpark. But I know how hard it is to show up, just having that in the back of my head. So I really commend you as a man and as a father to be out here doing the things that you're doing. So a lot of people, they read these books about, resilience and struggle, and they have no fucking idea what it's like to not even want to wake up every day. So good on you, man.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, are you still having fun?
That's, especially after what just happened, that's a hard question to answer because after when my daughter passed, it was so recent. Like I'm almost still not comprehending what happened because it was just in November, So, and it was suddenly out of nowhere. Like one day she's sick, the next day she's dead. Like literally it was that fast, and it made no sense. She's been healthy her whole life, it was just like that. So, I told myself when that happened that I was never going to be happy again, probably because I felt like I didn't deserve it. When you lose a child, you don't feel like you deserve anything. You'll start eating and you'll be like, I feel guilty for eating this. You'll smile and you'll feel guilty for smiling, guilty for giving your other kids something because your one kid can't have it again. And so I don't know if it's almost like I'm not having as like I always wanted to be a professional boxer, Before my daughter passed, that was my biggest goal. Now my daughter passed, and now I'm a professional boxer. And I'm not enjoying it as much as I could or should because I just feel like this is my duty now. Like, this is what I have to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm here to do now. And, yeah, it's almost just like work now. Hopefully that'll end, and I will learn to enjoy it. But for now, I just know I have a job to do, and I know exactly what I have to do, and I'm just doing it, putting my nose to the ground and doing it.
I can relate to that a lot because 18 months or so without being able to talk, not even close, again, not comparing, but in a sense, without losing her physically from this world to heaven. I've been trying to. It's like I'm mourning my daughter. Because now I can't even talk to her. They changed her name. They took, I'm completely ripped out of her life because I just didn't, have enough money to go to the trial. I couldn't do it. And I'm like, well, my God, like when she's 18 in another 12 years, is she gonna be okay? Or is she gonna want to talk to me? And it's like there's just this part of me that no matter how, like now we went from like living in a camper with nothing to like a really beautiful place, and we got a nice car now, and I'm hosting a show, and I have another little girl, but my wife can see it in me, like I'm never really happy fully because half of my heart was taken from me. So I can't imagine but I can kind of, unfortunately, I can see what you mean, and it sucks. But yeah, I think that because of the pain and the shit even if we aren't smiling at the top, I think it's just going to give us the strength to get to the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I refuse to let the pain of my daughter being taken and losing my daughter. It's almost like a fuck you to everyone who didn't believe in me, who said you're a junkie. Well, now I say you're goddamn right. I am a junkie. I'm the host of Fight Junkeez, bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to the top of that mountain because one day when I am face to face with these people, I can either be still abusing drugs and down and living like shit, or I can be this man that they could never, ever imagine me to be, but the man that I see myself as in my own thought. Like we all have a picture of who we are. And I'm finally going to work toward being that person. Not for me, take me out of the equation, but I feel like I've already failed my daughter. And I failed so many people in the past with the way I did a lot of things and handled my struggles that I'm like, I can't fail anymore because the rest of the people that need me to win deserve that shit. So there is no option, whether I want to get up and do Fight Junkeez or have a good conversation and smile or, it doesn't fucking matter anymore. It doesn't. This is just what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
So I get it, man. I fucking commend you for that.
Yeah, it's almost like when people talk about selling your soul, like I feel like that's what these guys are really talking about. Like you have no choice now. Like this is what you do. Like am I gonna work at McDonald's and have somebody be like, "Oh, you're Trap Gambino. What the fuck are you doing at McDonald's and stuff?" Like, yeah, man. We're in it now, man. We're here. We have no choice now. We're going full force.
Is it crazy for you? I mean, not even 2 years ago, I was living in a camper in Southeast Texas with nothing, and like just so out of it, And this was not even if I ever thought, oh, there's, how cool it would be to be like an MMA like podcast host. It was never like gonna really happen. When you look back at where you were and where you're at now, and I know we're both still, you're a little farther along than I am. Do you ever have that like? Even through the bad days and depression, I still sometimes go, holy fuck, this is my life?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like it doesn't feel real, but I feel like that's almost the imposter syndrome, like sneaking back. Like, it's like, especially like when you go back, like sometimes I'll go back to Ohio and I'll talk to like my old family members and it's like, we can't even have conversations anymore because the life that I live now is just like alien compared to what they're living. And it's like it's almost like they're watching TV and I'm the person on TV and they're the it's a different
I cut a friend off that I won't say his name, but he watches the show, I'm sure. I said like something about that I would want to do like fighting in Fight Circus, or I'd do a bare knuckle match or something. And he goes, what, just because you were a badass and could beat a lot of people up when we were 17, you think you could do it now? So he's stuck in 17 years old. I'm 37. I trained jiu-jitsu and won competitions in the military. I'm a non-lethal weapons instructor. I've been to Iraq. I was military police. God knows how many classes I've been through. Trained a lot with a lot of mixed martial artists. I'm by no means a badass in any facet, but I'm a disciplined, stubborn son of a bitch. So I know that I could do it. And I'm like, why am I have nothing to talk to you about anymore. Right. You literally are still in high school.
That's what happens though. People, wherever you leave off with them is the last impression they had.
Yes.
And then you get so much further out of that they now have a 2-dimensional vision of who you were versus the 3-dimensional life you've been living.
100%, man. 100%. When I go back home sometimes, I'm not Trap Daddy Gambino anymore. I'm just Travis. Right. Like, oh, hey, you're doing that. Oh, Travis is doing that.
You're the guy on the computer again. You're the guy, with the mice, but you're the guy from whatever, the last song you listened to with them. It's the same stuff.
Yeah, it's wild. Like I go back home and like ugly chicks are still denying me, but over here like hot chicks want me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it should be the other way around.
They're delusional.
Yeah.
Somebody's delusional. It's not you.
I changed my cell phone number. Oh, there's the boss right now. Hey, boss, you're on speakerphone on Fight Junkeez. What's up?
What are you doing?
I have Trap Daddy MMA in front of me.
Yo.
We're recording Fight Junkeez.
Oh, why am I saying it like
and I
you
got
can
you on
hear the
speaker.
fucking...
Nice.
Yeah, we have a hard out in 4 minutes, so I'll call you right back.
Go ahead, bye.
That was the boss. If we got to get out of here, but can you end with one thing? If you could talk to the kids that you believe would relate to your story, what would you say to them as a grown man now, a father, someone who's been through a ton of stuff, who's still climbing that mountain for success and has set yourself up for nothing but amazing things, even though the bullshit tries to pull you down? How would you tell that young kid who's on the computer, who's dealing with bullies and all the bullshit, what would you say to him to get him to realize there's more to life?
So one of my biggest things that's always hold me back is just not showing up, just not going, not getting up and going. There's so many times where I've had podcasts linked up for me, ready to go, TV shows, auditions, and my self-confidence, or my self-conscious, I should say, didn't allow me to go. And I feel like if I would have went, I would have been where I'm at now, or even further, way faster. But now I'm 32 years old. I'm about to make my first professional boxing debut, something I wanted to do since I was like 22 years old. And it's taken me a long time, but maybe that's all so I learn what I have known to get here. But yeah, if I would tell anybody anything, is just get up and go, because it's cliche to say follow your dreams, but at the same time, I'm doing this for everybody who's ever had a dream, because that's what it all started with. It's just a dude with no athletic ability, out of shape. No, I was stupid to everybody else, and all of a sudden I'm here doing what the fuck I told everybody that I was gonna do. Everybody told me I couldn't do it. Now I'm here doing it.
Facts.
So I would tell everybody else, just get up and go, man. Just get up and go and do it, because you never fucking know.
Well, I'm certainly proud of you. I know your family's probably proud of you, and I'm excited. Are you allowed to talk about the boxing match? We got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Can we talk? Because I want to go.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome.
Because I'm going to talk shit to everybody that's on the other side.
Yeah, man, it's in Tampa,
I'm going to get
Florida.
kicked out of the venue.
So it's at EFC, which is Entrepreneur Fighting Championships. It's a influencer league. I will be ranked in the official influencer boxing ranks with KSI, Jake Paul, and all those guys after this fight, which is nice.
Do you know PJ Overt that's from out here?
Yeah.
He was on here.
Yeah, I saw that. So we messaged back and forth a couple times, and I did tell him that I want to get on a card. Like I want to get on one of those cards. But I'd like to fight Boogie or that Wings guy, because we're all big guys, and I feel like that'd be a good fight.
So you got this awesome fight coming up in July.
Yeah, July 29th. It's going to be my professional boxing debut. Everybody knows I can knock somebody out.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to try to do, man. I got a guy who's he's a big black guy who looks like Bubble Bass from SpongeBob. So I'm hoping, he goes down just as hard, as big as he is, the harder he falls. Yeah.
So I'm going to end with this. I know a guy who knows a guy who might happen to be in charge of the UFC and Power Slap. Have you ever thought about Power Slap?
So, yeah, this is a story not many people know, but I was actually signed to Power Slap.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was signed to the Power Slap League, but I backed out like 2 weeks before I was flown out. I was in Ohio at the time because of the another thing. But I was gonna fly out there, but I broke my hand, and
okay, so it was an injury. You didn't.
Seems like a fair excuse.
Yeah, I broke my hand like an idiot. So I didn't know how to train for this. So I was just slapping a punch machine at the Acres of Fun.
Oh my God.
I ended up breaking my hand, and it was bad.
Well, I'm very happy you guys came. Both my brother got to experience this. We're going to have to do a part 2.
For sure.
We got a heart out now, but it's for someone that I want to introduce you to. An absolute stud, a giant among men, Sean Merriman, who owns Lights Out, another fight organization. So we're going to get out of here so certain people can get in here. Thank you for coming on. Proud of you, and I look forward to just watching your journey, man. And
appreciate you, man.
You ever need somebody or get a flat at 2 a.m. or just need somebody to come and start smacking people with you, I got your 6, bro.
All right, man, let's do it.
All right, Trap Daddy MMA and my big brother George. Let's go. Fight Junkeez, baby. We're out.